Wicked. Wicked tones, you know.
I have a lot of people who aren't supporters yet following me, writing comments on my whatever, social media, whatever. They're just unconverted followers, let's say. Not trolls, not losers, not fucking pathetic dorks. Just unconverted followers.
Okay.
So, yeah. But a lot of these guys, like, and I'm sure it's girls too, but guys seem to have some affinity to, like, just wanting to prove whatever it is they're doing is right. So anytime they get a conflicting opinion about it, they're like, they just present an argument more often than not. Especially when you're talking about form and technique and the way people should do things, they fall back in the argument of like, oh man, some of us just want to be strong. It's like, okay, well, one, go do fucking powerlifting. Because that's like the ultimate measure of fucking strength. Not bodybuilding or anything to do with bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're in the wrong sport. That's our first problem. And second, it's like, you may be strong. So I may be really strong at doing this press. You do the whole stack, right? And you get this thing up and you understand that you get it in a position, more than likely it's gonna be this position here, where I brace everything here and then this thing just moves a few inches. And it's like, whatever it looks like, it's just trash, right? So it's like, you can think to yourself at that point, like, yes, I'm strong, because the definition of that is I moved a heavy weight from A to B. I was able to maneuver that weight into a position that I wanted it to get into. However I got that there, doesn't fucking matter. I did it. That's strong. You could argue that, but you have to understand, like I've said in the past, it hasn't come up in a while, but it's like bodybuilding, and also just to be truly strong, even if you're a powerlifter, you need to become strong in the weakest possible position. So you're not just strong in like the like modality or like the movement pattern you lock down in, and you're able to move this thing like 2 inches, like we see guys load up leg presses with 20 plates on each side or like stacked on the stacks, right? And they take it off and they knee pump 3 reps and slam it down. You can't say all of us would agree that that's not strong. But a lot of you aren't much better because you're only breaking 3-4 more inches and doing the same nonsense. So you're moving the weight, right? But like, you're not allowing, one, the hip to relax, the body, the knee to bend, like we've talked before, the weight to sit on the feet, the hips to fold, the knees to pop up, the weight to like be solely on your feet, let's say on a leg press, and take that weight down and shove it away. Like that's, by definition, you're training in a weakened position there because we're not locking on joints. We're learning how to put pressure into the back behind us. With this press, I'm learning how to, instead of just pin this thing, when I start up here, like we preach and everything, I start from the bottom. So this is a weak position for me. Most people don't want to be here. As soon as they're here, they're fucking terrified. I'm more relaxed here than I am out here. I'm more relaxed here because I know where my weight sits. It's in my back, it's on my hands. Nothing's gonna happen to me because I'm engaged where I need to be engaged. Lats tucked in, elbows tucked in, shoulders back. You know what I mean? So I'm on where I need to be, but this is my weakest position. So I'm strong here, so this press becomes nothing. Because all I'm doing is falling back in or allowing my body to rock back to this starting position and stress out, as opposed to what most people do where it's like, there's no time spent here. Zero. If anything, it's a fucking panic that once that weight reaches a certain depth, get it the fuck off of me and get it out where I can control it, right? So in that frame of thinking, you're very strong from all the way out to halfway down, let's say. So we're coiling backwards, so the end ranges are where we want to be. I'm strong from about halfway out of my push and this length here, because I basically pinned on my joints and like I'm just using my leverage, like pushing back and pushing something out, right? And using the strength I have. But you've missed this whole beginning part that like is the hardest part in any sport, like especially in powerlifting. Powerlifters practice this range like no one's business. like the ability to like control weight down and move it off. They're not doing practice reps where they're like locking out and they're doing half reps in midair, because they know that the hardest part and the place where I need to be relaxed and gain all my power to drive up is off the chest. That's why they come down and they pause, and then they rock off when they get an up call. Because they have to control that motherfucker. Show they have control and then extend the bar, right? So you have all these, like I said, these people like I'm strong, all this stuff, and there's plenty of dudes in gyms everywhere, not just here. I'm not calling people out here, because I've literally seen this behavior everywhere, and I'm sure people watching have. You get these guys and girls. Why girls are flat benching on a barbell, I have no idea. Outside of the sport for powerlifting, why are you doing that? Like, what boyfriend told you that was a good idea? Because they're fucking lying to you. It's useless for you. Absolutely useless, unless you're doing it as a sport of powerlifting. Like, you're not gonna get shit from that, right? So it's like, I forget where I was going with that. Oh yeah, so these fucking guys, like, they might have, like, say they have one lift and they're the guy in the gym who's like the big bench guy. Like, I'm the big bench guy, like I can fucking bench over, and they're fucking bouncing that bar off their chest. Or even better, well, sorry, actually less terrifying than bouncing the bar off your chest is the guys who bring the weight down and they're here, and then the hips are here, and then the hips go. It's like, guess what, man? That's not powerlifting. You can't fucking do that in powerlifting. Your hips can't leave the bench. So if you're doing that and fucking air fucking 400 pounds up and, like, to rack it, like I saw two guys doing it here yesterday. Like, no, like there's no knock on you. You're strong guys, right? But if you're pretending to be powerlifters and you're adhering to this like idea that you are a powerlifter, you're cheating. That's not powerlifting, man. Practice properly. Do it the way you should. That goes to tell me that there's something along the line of your bench, the path, that you're not strong. And when you get to a certain point, like the bottom, you're fucking freaking out and you're using your hip drive, which is fine, but your hips can't leave the bench. My hips can't be like parallel like a hip thrust with my chest. And I'm basically like tipped back in the bench and the hips are higher than me. And I've literally like air fucked the bar up. Like, that's what I did. It's like anybody can move a weight like that, guys. So like, it's just funny to me how people rest on their laurels of like, some of us just want to be strong, man. It's like, yeah, well, that's great. You know how much stronger you would be if you did it properly? And probably how much less injury you'd have, how much risk of injury you'd avoid. Because like you're on a path to an injury. I hate to break it out, you guys out there that are doing this half rep shit or fucking like limited range of motion and like fucking grunting with every rep. Like, the fact that you can't even breathe when you're doing the rep tells you it's too heavy. You're never gonna see anyone who's experienced pick up a weight and not be able to breathe. Like, I'm talking aside from like, let's say Thor, like pulls like 800 pounds, 1,000 pounds off the floor. He's gonna get fucking pretty beat red at the bottom of the lift. Then he's gonna stand up and you know what he's gonna do? Bah! Breathe, right? You guys are, I'm still holding my breath. I'm still holding my breath. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like the misconceptions and like the way people have been guided in this area. It's like it sounds horrible to say because it's like we don't want this in like other areas of life, let's say, but when it comes to lifting sports, there needs to be segregation. We don't need powerlifting mingling with bodybuilding. Bodybuilders do not need to mingle with powerlifters. Like, yes, if you want to learn techniques and there's something you can take form-wise from people, like you should, to learn how to bench, it's probably a good idea. Like, if you still want a barbell bench, that's your fucking thing. Learn from a powerlifter, but a real powerlifter. Not a guy who just strong in the gym and like spots you and encourages you to do nonsense. Like, go to like a guy like Dave Tate, go to like a reputable coach who can show you like, oh, and then you can, as a bodybuilder, even if you're doing that, you can like be like, oh, I understand like the positioning now. Now, like I've said before, it's like the powerlifter bench is a little too wide to really activate chest for me. So I would bring my hands in and still do the same motion. I'd still pull the bar in, I'd still have my back arch, I'd still have feet under me, like shoulders retracted, everything. It would be the same bench, it's just a different grip, right? But like this blending of stuff, it's like, I don't think it's coming from an area of like, oh, like really smart and well-versed guys are crossing over ideas. It's coming from morons who are pretending to be something they're not, and then talking to another guy who's pretending to be something he's not, And now we're smart together, right? Because like we say, birds of a feather flock together. Frauds fly with frauds, right? And then they'll defend each other. Oh, well, this guy knows his stuff, man. Really? What has he done? How has he applied it in any way outside of you? Who finally believed something he said, and now he seems to be coaching you or having an impression on you, right? Do you notice when you watch videos, like our videos aren't over edited unless it's a reel, right? Because you're splicing together like ideas of like, it's a teaser of what it is. It's not like it's cutting out portions of a thing and just putting it up. It's like, but the videos are straight shots. There's barely any edits, or maybe one, or like a few, just like dead space edits, right? But like, you notice how like, I don't know if anyone else has noticed this with a lot of influencers, like there's a few guys in particular, it's like like they're talking and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, and you know, da 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 da, and yeah, so like it's like it's chopping, it's always chopping, like they don't have like a conscious stream of thought.
Gotcha.
It's like if like that should be worrisome to someone watching, in the sense that you've been rambling, like you're rambling, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm rambling,
Right.
but I know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm well aware of what I'm saying, right? I'm not like in the middle of it going, like, oh man, what? Oh, or like, oh no, I don't want to say that. Cut that out. Oh no, it's like, no, just say what you're gonna say. When you edit stuff so fucking heavily and and like especially when it's like a long form content, like a 10-minute video, why the fuck do you need to edit it so much? What are you saying that's like so fucking off that you need to like make it sound better? It's like I would just leave it and let's roll the dice and see what happens, man. Like some of those people are saying controversial shit, or like they're not so well liked, right? Or they have a bad reputation. It's like, you're not saving yourself. Just keep the shit in. Don't censor yourself. Say what the fuck you want to say. Instead of it sounding like every time someone watches your video, like it's the fucking radio station changing, like in the car, like I'm just scrolling through the dial, right? Like it also tells me that maybe you're saying stuff that you don't truly believe or know, but they kind of go hand in hand. And it's like, so you're trying to kind of hide that fact by having the edit save you. Know yourself better and know what you're talking about better. And you won't need to do all these fucking edits. Edit that out before we...